video, we're going to talk about iframe tracking. How do you track conversions for an ad campaign that you're running if you don't control the website in which the iframe is pulling users to from your primary website? In other words, if you drive traffic to website A, and then on website A, they fill out a form or click a link to go basically have a pop-up, to go finish checking out, make the reservation, what have you. Ultimately, what's within that iframe is on another website. How do you get what happens on this website over here to be pulled into the Google Analytics tracking or Google Ads tracking that's on your primary website that you're driving traffic to? That's what I'm going to specifically address on this video. There are a lot of other videos about iframe tracking that assume that you own this website. You can add code to this website to complete the data loop between what happens on the primary website and what happens within the iframe, which is on a whole different website. And if you do control and can add code to that website that the iframe takes you to effectively, then you can go ahead and add that code. And within Google Analytics and within Google Ads, you can track every single conversion, whether or not it happens within that iframe. But generally speaking, when you use an iframe though, you don't actually have any kind of control over that other website. Why? Because people use it as a checkout portal, a reservation portal. Your CRM system gives you a form to embed within your website, which is done through an iframe, so that when people fill out that form, it automatically goes to the CRM. And in those cases, which I've ran into many, many times, you cannot track conversions properly. There are two other methods that you can track those conversions, neither of which is perfect because they have a drawback. Either ultimately have to do extra work, manual work, or a lot of work setting up an automated bypass system that will automate the process in an indirect way, or you're going to get only half of the conversions, which half is a hell of a lot better than none, but is a lot easier than to use this workaround bypass method I just talked about. In either case, you shouldn't have to settle for not tracking the conversions that happen within that iframe. And trust me, you want to track the conversions that happen through the iframe, because all the results you're going to get on your Google Ads account, Facebook Ads account, Microsoft Ads account, LinkedIn Ads account, these main ad platforms, all the results you're going to get long-term are all predicated on tracking data. And because that tells the system what works and what doesn't work, so that when you're advertising on one keyword, one website, whatever, it finds that portion of the traffic within that keyword or within that website that actually generate a profit for you. That is enough sales to offset the ad spend and all your expense of doing business to make it worth it for you at the end of the day. And whereas a lot of people, 90% of the people who even just try Google Ads, they don't get it to work. It's not profitable for them. Only 10% ever make money from it. It's because the 10% didn't do anything necessarily that different. Maybe they have certainly a little bit better strategy. They gave the system enough time to work. They found the 10% of what they were doing initially that worked. And they also allowed time for Google to recognize them as a good advertiser for their cost per click to come down. They pay less per click, and then also have Google send them a better quality user because they were able to use Google system to refine who their ad would actually show up for and who wouldn't. Then they actually got to where they can get to profitability with their account. So with data and the tracking and that being such a critical component to actually getting results on these ad platforms, if you're using an iframe, you have to either decide not to use iframes, or you got to learn how to track iframes by adding code to the site the iframe is on, or you got to use one of these bypass workaround methods, if you will, if you expect to make millions of dollars with your advertising long term. I'm Corey Ziman, owner of Guaranteed PPC. We are an advertising agency that offers guaranteed results on Google Ads, Facebook Ads. We have to lift your profitability of your ads a certain minimum amount up front before we take a management fee. No other agency out there does anything like that you can find in the world. So with that said, and the reason why we're able to get results is because I'm the one doing strategy on all of our clients' accounts. And I've been doing online marketing for 20 years, 10 of which just the firm that I started, Guaranteed PPC. With that said, getting into the content here, I'm going to go through what these workaround methods are like. If you stay by the end of the video, I will tell you how much of a drawback using iframes versus not using iframes is going to get you at the end of the day. given, that certainly may also be on your mind as well. And I'm going to give you some like case studies, if you will, where we just got rid of iframes, and then, how much of a difference in results that actually made at the end of the day with the drawback the iframe brings. So with that said, if you are sending traffic to website A that you control, okay, and you don't control what's on the website within the iframe, if you will, here are your two options. If you just cannot get out of using iframes, if you still want to track your results, or at least track them as best as you can. So I know a lot of you guys watching this video, about half of the subscribers of this channel are other marketing agencies or other aspiring PPC experts that want to work with clients. Half of you guys of which are businesses just trying to do their own ads because they don't like hiring somebody else and want to manage their own ads. For the people that are trying to work with clients, you guys are the ones going to be, I would say, certainly the most benefiting the most from this information in this video, given your client a lot of times is inflexible. They've been using that iframe for years already. You're not just setting this iframe up for the first time, which gives you the flexibility of just abandoning the idea of using an iframe to begin with. So where the client's using an iframe, both of these options will give you an option to not have to get them to change anything, still pick up the conversion data, and as a result of having the conversion data, actually have a chance in hell for your ads to be profitable for that client, so you can develop an actual profitable ad strategy for them at the end of the day. So with that said, what are the methods? Your first option for tracking activity within that iframe, if you cannot add extra additional supplementary code on the website that the iframe is within, you can first of all, as your first option, add an opt-in. That is, ultimately, if somebody wants to enter information on that form, okay, what you do is you take a screenshot of that form as it is displayed for the user on your website or on your client's website, to where the form just looks like it's there, but it's not. It's actually a picture of the form, okay? They click on that picture of the form. Then a pop-up that says, before proceeding, go ahead and fill out this form with your email address on it or phone number. That's the first step. Or you could put like literally on this pop-up, you'll have it's a light box or a pop-up that shows up and it says step 1, enter your email. And then once this pop-up is programmed, so when somebody enters their email and clicks submit, then it redirects them to the website that was already displayed within this iframe, if you will, okay? Or if you can't take them to that website in which is displayed within the iframe, then you take them to a web page on your website that the entire website is the iframe. So effectively, you can't tell there's like a portal there, if you will. It's just the whole web page is the iframe, which on an iframe, you can make that iframe as big or little as you want. So you could literally make the iframe the same width and height as a whole web page. Okay, so then they're completing the rest of what they're doing within a web page that's really it's an iframe within another website, if you will. So it looks like it's on your website, but really they're just within an iframe on another website, if that makes sense. So with that said, what you actually do is you take that email address, and then people that check out on that other website, or after filling out a form on another website, take the information that's you get from the other website the iframe has within it, and you compare that to the email address / phone number on your pop-up, and you reconcile those two sources of information. Then you go ahead, and then with that information, you will know how many people went through your iframe and filled out converted, so you know how well your campaign's working at a high level. But the important part of tracking, the way more valuable part into setting up sufficient conversion tracking for your ad campaigns, is to steer your ads. And you can't steer your ads if all you know is, hey, they converted or not converted from this overall Google Ads account. You need to know the exact keyword, the exact time of the day of the week, on and on and on. The way that you do that is through something called offline conversion tracking and offline conversion imports. So what you do is when somebody clicks on that image, you actually have, or should I say within the pop-up, when somebody enters their email or phone number within that pop-up and clicks submit, you're going to take a copy of that email address or phone number with the Google Click ID that is within the URL address bar on the top of the landing page you took them to, which if they went to more than one visit on the page on the site, you carry that Google Click ID and a cookie with the user. so that when they actually get to your landing page with the iframe and they click the image of what looks like the form within the iframe, and you got the pop-up when they click submit, that you have a small script there that takes because the Google Click ID is going to be at the end of the URL each time. If you click on any Google ad, you will see on the end of the URL in the address bar, it'll be like GCLID equals blah, 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 string of numbers and characters. That Google Click ID, you grab it and you database it with that email address or phone number that gets submitted within that pop-up I mentioned to you, so that later on when you get weekly or monthly a report from your client on all the submissions you got on the site that was within the iframe, and you reconcile that with the email or phone number on your pop-up, you actually are able to grab the Google Click ID at that point in time. Then you take the Google Click ID and you import it into your Google Ads account. If you're talking about Google Ads, if you're talking about Microsoft Ads, you do it with a Microsoft Click ID. If you're talking about Facebook Ads, you do it with a Facebook Click ID. If you're talking about LinkedIn, they have their own LinkedIn Click ID. So, but you got to have a conversion goal set up beforehand to track these offline conversions. If you set up the offline conversion goal, you set up what I mentioned, then once a month, you reconcile all the signups on your site within the iframe, the signups that you collected before you take them to the site with the iframe, if you will, on your pop-up, get all the relevant click IDs, upload them, and then you will then see inside your Google Ads account what keyword, what time of the day of the week, all those pieces of information that's going to help you optimize and steer your ad campaigns in a more and more profitable direction all the time because you've got the Click ID uploaded. A lot of people get confused about how this Google Click ID and how it works. Every single click that comes through Google's system on Google or on a website that a Google ad is on, whether that be YouTube, on any website that has Google AdSense on it, therefore allowing you to run banner ads on a certain website. Every single ad click gets a Google Click ID. It's like a serial number that's tied to an individual ad click that happens within a website that has a Google ad on it somewhere. So, and they database that with all the details about that user, time of the day of the week, age, what demographic traits match them, what psychographic traits match them, on and on and on. Like all these data points. There's thousands of data points that they have on each user, which they database with this so-called Google Click ID, and it's just there. And so when you reference that same Google Click ID at a later point in time, within 90 days is what Google will allow there, if your conversion window on your offline goal is set up to be 90 days, they say, aha, I know who you're talking about here. It was this person who made this ad click on this date and this time, and here's the 5,000 traits that match up with that individual user, and then they'll go ahead and then show you in your ad account all the traits that user had. And then if you're using smart bidding, that's made to get you a certain cost per lead, certain ROI, or whatever, it uses all the information it learned about your success there or failure, because it never got a Google Click ID back from you, and then use it to be a little bit more efficient with your ad spend moving forward. Your data is your wealth in your ad account, whether you're talking about Google, Facebook, whatever. The more of data you've collected about what works for you specifically, the more results, more profits you're going to be able to make with your ad account, which long term, 95% of the profits you make from an ad account and ad spend that you have to spend is going to be from the past acquisition of data. Literally. We've done this time and time again. We've had it in the printer toner space where we took an account that was generating tons of profit. We tried to take the exact configuration with Google Ads Editor, that account, move it into a brand new Google Ads account, try to run those same exact ads and everything else. The results are 5%, 10% of what we had ROI-wise, profit-wise, than the original account that had all the age and data behind it. Therefore, you cannot get that much results with your Google Ads account because you have no data at the beginning. 90% of people expect that. They don't understand how this stuff works. They give up on it before they ever had it given a chance to work. And the more competitive a market you're in, the more the data matters, because the more data advantage your competitors have on you, because they've been running their ads for years and spent a lot of money on those ads. Whereas if you have no competition, there's no data advantage there, you see? So anyway, that's specifically how you can work around the non-trackability of an iframe and still not have to give up your iframe to get your data that you need to be doing well with your ad, if you will. Respectively, The other thing you can do to track conversions is you have your same fake picture method that I told you, where you screenshot what the iframe looks like, and then you replace the iframe itself with a picture that looks like what the iframe looked like, if you will, tricking the user to click on a picture versus the iframe itself. And you can actually have it with Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics track just the the clicks on the picture itself, and then use that as a goal in and itself. And then, pass your conversion goal from Google Analytics to Google Ads. And then if you're at least talking about Google Ads, you can track, how many people clicked on that image, which is kind of like tracking whether somebody adds something to their shopping cart. It doesn't tell you whether they completed the purchase, but at least it tells you that they started the purchase. And those, tracking how many people start the purchase is still better than nothing, because people who start their purchase is correlated with people who purchase. So if you're talking about machine learning and these algorithms that run your ads and decide if your ad should show up for somebody or not, because it's gotten a return for you in the past, your ad has shown up for similar people in the past, it's a hell of a lot better than no data at all, enough in which you should still be able to run a decently profitable account, even if you were just tracking people clicking on that image, and that's it. Which you could actually set up a event in Facebook for that as well, and track whether people click on that image. So that's your other kind of way to work around iframes, not be able to track iframes, and when you don't have access to the website that the iframe is on, in order to get some conversion data and use that conversion data to get you better results with your ad over time, so to say. That said, we had a client who was in the travel space. They did like white river rafting tours and stuff like that. Because they were using an iframe, they weren't able to track the results, and they just settled for that, just no tracking whatsoever. We went ahead and did this method. I talked them into being able to let us have an image there and a pop-up, and then using this first method I talked about. And we started getting results within the first 6 months already, because we started building up a reasonable amount of data. Was able to switch to a maximize conversion bidding strategy, where we're targeting a certain cost per lead. And then we're talking within 12 months, we have reduced our cost per lead by at least 30%, or should I say more than 30% already within that amount of time. And then it just kept getting better. You're, going from zero tracking data to having the, for all practical purposes, the really decent conversion tracking data that shows you exactly how many people purchase versus how many people hit the page. It's going to be night and day difference. We're still actually working with that client. The cost per conversion, if you will, is now less than half of what it started with, and it just keeps getting lower and lower over time. And we're within 1 to 2 years of working with that client already. And that's typically how things go. It doesn't matter what you're doing, and as long as you're tracking your conversions properly, you're getting the right quality data, and you're tracking leads and/or sales, your cost per lead, your ROI should gradually get better over time, especially over the first couple of years. Now, naturally, do I expect it to be 90% lower than what it started out with this travel tours company? No. But it will be considerably better, and it'll keep getting better because you're feeding in the right data. So you got to, it'll happen automatically. It's not a matter of if it will happen. It will damn well happen. The only question is whether you're going to give the Google or whoever you're working with in terms of an ad platform the right data. These platforms are a lot more driven on data and machine learning than anything else. And if you're going to make things work, you got to give the algorithm what it needs. How is it going to get you more results if it doesn't know anything about what you want? Ultimately, this is, it just makes logical sense why it would get better if it knows what worked for you. And for that matter, it wants to get you more results because they want their users on their platform to just get better results in terms of what they, Facebook wants people to see stuff on Facebook was interesting to them and that they took advantage of. They clicked through, they bought, because that means it was relevant to them. So when you give them information about who thought your offer was relevant and who didn't, naturally they're going to use that data to make their people stay on their platform longer. It just coincides with making you more money. So it's not even about just making you more money. They want to use, if they make more money, you make more money. And so you're really partners. And a proper partnership, like any partnership, you're feeding data back and forth about what's working so you guys can work together and get yourselves more results. So this is really no different than that. Ultimately, if you wanted to use this picture method or unsure about it, you can reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com. I can get you the actual thing set up in a couple days, and you can just start building your data up now. You're throwing half of your ad money away if you don't collect this kind of conversion data, and that is you still have to use iframes, or you could get rid of iframes. We do not charge fees until we can get our clients minimum amount of profitability increase in their ads and what we're doing with it, and this will for sure get it. So if you just want us to handle it, you could. Naturally, ultimately, if we've also, by the way, worked in your industry before, which we've worked in over 100 niche markets in the last 10 years running this firm, you could benefit very greatly by, even if you don't like someone like our agency to manage your ads, manage your landing pages, manage your tracking, to take all the winning version of everything we've developed for your industry. Like, such as if you're in that White River rafting space before, you could literally just take everything we've learned in that space, copy paste it into your account, and get way better results. And just for a one-time fee of buying everything we've learned in that industry for you. And we can tell you the cost per conversion that we got with it before you ever bought it. And you would already know what you stand to gain with it if you purchased that from us. So just want to let you know that we have that available. And that's very, very popular and getting to be more profitable all the time, or more popular all the time, because nobody wants to go through a long, arduous process of figuring out what works in an industry, and your best bet truly is just to take the winning version from somebody who's already done it. So if you have questions about this iframe tracking that you think that I should have covered and didn't, of course, you can leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or a comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. Also, by the way, this type of information is key in just getting results with your ads. Everything that I explained about in reference to the algorithms, what these ad platforms that you're trying to get results out of revolve around. You need to know all these pieces of information if you are going to go on to make millions of dollars running ads for your company, because it's all relevant. And unless you know these basics that nobody really talks about on YouTube and whatnot, on the web, you're going to keep struggling. All the information that you need to get results with your ads to make the millions, it's all for free given to you on this channel from somebody who spends 40 hours a week doing ad testing and strategy on dozens of different ad accounts. So there's no lack of information here. So if you are serious about making money, making the millions, you need to subscribe to this channel, and you'll get the information you need. Furthermore, if you like the channel, you can also find my blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog. The blog has step-by-step instructions on how to implement certain strategies, which are our go-tos that we use to guarantee results for our clients. If you like the channel, you'll also like that blog as well. So anyway, with all that said, what I encourage you to do is, if you have to keep using the iframe, you keep using it. You use at least one of these methods. Yes, it's going to be a pain to set up, but it's going to 1,000% be worth it for you to do it, because no data to steer an ad account with means you're going to get 10% of the results that you could have got if you just built up conversion data in your account for the next 3 to 5 years, and then get to the end of the next 3 to 5 years, and have something that is going to tell you exactly what works and what doesn't work in your market as a result. You literally throw half of your ad money away not having data coming into your account like that. Truly, it's not an embellishment when I say that. Truly, that is the case in today's world, in today's environment, and I don't feel like it's only going to get more relevant, because these algorithms, I get smarter and smarter and smarter about who buys, who doesn't buy. With all that said, it's just going to become more so. And I always have mentioned many times on this channel, more data you have and the more accurate your data, the better results you can expect out of ads. You can work on making your ad better and your landing page better without tracking. Many times it's going to be fruitless for you to be able to spend time setting those up without the last piece of the puzzle, which is your tracking. Actually, your 4 pieces of the formula to always get things to work with your ads is ad, landing page, high click-through rates on your ad, high conversion rates on your landing page, getting accurate tracking data into your account, and accurate targeting that gets you an audience that has 1% or greater of actual buyers within it. So you don't have, because every time an ad shows to somebody who isn't a buyer, it's waste. It's a wasted spend. And if you have too high of a percentage of waste in your ad spend, then you'll never be able to make money either. But if you can get all those things together, of which I talk about how to do each one inside and out way better than what your competition is going to be willing to do and is doing on this channel, then you're going to basically always be able to make money. It's just a question of, do you want to actually figure out what it actually takes to set this up so you do better than your competition in terms of every one of those components? And are you going to put the time together to put it together, or pay someone, of course, to do it? And then, there's no reason why you can't make the millions of dollars running ads for your business that way. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you then.